One of the many nations in Central Europe that today operates a very small air force, the Austrians have nonetheless operated a fair few different types over the decades. No place is better to see examples of these than at Zeltweg, a small town that is around a 3-hour train ride from Vienna. There are aircraft here that you would not expect to see very often in places like this, along with some very colourful types to mark the aircraft's retirement from service. Today I am at the Aviation Museum at Zeltweg, which is almost entirely dedicated to the Austrian Air Force. Many countries in Europe have several aviation museums, and for Austria, the main one is the active military airbase at Zeltweg. Still used today as the main base from which the country's Eurofighter Typhoons fly from, it can be reached from Vienna by train. The journey is very scenic, weaving its way through the hills of eastern Austria, and even on a cloudy day like this, it was still impressive. After departing the train station at Zeltweg, there's then a small walk through the town until reaching the telltale signs that there's an aviation museum about. Guarding the gate is a Saab J29 Tunan mounted on display, and following these little orange draken-shaped icons on the path will lead you to the main hangar. The majority of the museum exhibits are held within a large brick-built hangar, though there are a few old airframes kept outside. 2 Saab Drakens are on show, the type having served 30 years in Austrian service right up until 2005. This was a remarkable feat for what would have been a second-generation jet fighter still finding active service in the 21st century. Another aircraft from the company is the Saab 91 Zephyr. This one though is kept largely under wraps on the time of my visit. The only non-Austrian aircraft within the whole museum is a Mikoyan MiG-21 fishbed of the Croatian Air Force. Again under wraps just like the Saab 91 Zephyr, this is not the only Soviet designed aircraft at the museum, but certainly illustrates the difference between the aircraft on each side of the Iron Curtain. The aircraft would have been better displayed without the hangar as a backdrop in my opinion, but let's go and take a look inside. The museum consists of just one hangar, however it is quite expansive and holds a large number of aircraft along with hundreds of aviation memorabilia, photos and equipment. The first things that greet you as you enter the main hall are some unusual types to say the least. 2 propeller-driven trainer aircraft from behind the Iron Curtain are on show, being a Yakovlev Yak 11 and Yak 18. The Austrian Air Force was only re-established after World War II in 1955 and started off receiving some trainer aircraft from the Soviet Union before aligning solely to Western designed aircraft after this. Another very unusual trainer aircraft is the Fiat G46, an obscure aircraft from the late 1940s from the Italian aircraft industry. Towards the end of this line of trainer aircraft is the much more familiar type being the North American T6 Texan, Austria's examples being painted in a bright yellow scheme. An aerial view of these aircraft can be seen from the balcony that surrounds 2 sides of the hangar. This corner of the museum also holds a further example of the brightly painted Saab 91 Severe, along with a few of Austria's helicopter fleet. Ranging from the Bell 47 light utility helicopter to the famous UH-1 Huey multi-purpose helicopter, these fit nicely in the corner along with a plethora of other objects and exhibits. Largest aircraft here at the museum is a short Skyvan, a fairly basic but useful light transport aircraft that could also be used as a paratroop dropper. This one has the views inside the cabin and cockpit accessible, so you can take a closer look. Following on from these are the Austrian Air Force's jet aircraft. All apart from one of these date back to the 1950s. The other side of the hangar displays 3 jet trainers used by the Austrians, and again shows the wide variety of countries that they bought aircraft from. Also used by neighbouring Switzerland is the British-designed de Havilland Vampire twin-seat trainer. France's equivalent to this was the Fauga Magister, one of my personal favourite aircraft owing to its unusual shape with the V-tail. And last is the Saab 105, a small twin-seat jet trainer of the 1960s that served in Austrian service for an impressive 50 years. The last 3 jet aircraft here are all from the Saab company, starting off with another of the flying barrels, also known as the J-29 Tunnan. And at centre stage of the museum are 2 more Saab J-35 Drakens. These are quite a bit different than the ones seen earlier though, as they have been vividly painted in the schemes worn for the type's retirement in 2005. There are no fewer than 5 Saab Drakens at this aviation museum, 2 outside, 2 painted in special markings, and this one behind me, which has been stripped away to show the interior detail. Tucked away in another corner of the hangar is something you don't usually see at an air museum, an exhibit with a large number of the panels purposely removed. The aircraft on the ground floor aren't the only things to see here, as the rooms upstairs provide many different exhibits on other things to do with the Austrian Air Force and the history of this airbase. There are of course the obligatory model aircraft collection displays that happily fill in any gaps that may have been missed by not having an actual example of the real thing here. But most interesting is a room dedicated to the aviation history during World War II of this country, with the most notable exhibits being the remains of 2 Luftwaffe aircraft wrecks. First is the significant remains of a Messerschmitt Bf 109, this one interestingly being an early model with a 2-bladed propeller. The other is the mangled wreckage of a Heinkel HE 111, this one having suffered the terrible fate of having collided into a mountain, with an image showing where the parts were salvaged. Also on show next door is a room dedicated to the Heinkel HE 162 Salamander, a German jet aircraft designed to be simple to construct and basic to operate. Other rooms hold plenty of information and photographs of aircraft that existed as part of the pre-World War II Austrian Air Force, along with this lineup of cool looking showroom dummies.
If you have enjoyed this video on the Austrian Aviation Museum at Zeltweg, why not leave a like and follow my channel for more, and I'll bring you many more aviation museums from around the rest of the world. However, until next time, see you around.